We gave Richardson a minute to take it all in. He'd need to have that fire in his heart for the battle to come. After he had his fill, he turned away and followed our slow pace down the road. Peter, you never did tell me the plan. Is it time to take action against the boss in NCR? We had talked out our plan in PMs because fuck these boss boys know how to metagame. But they were also ignorant. Ever since we started turning people against them, they began to take every action we made very seriously. No, the time for action is not yet upon us, but soon it will be. There is still one more thing to be said before we can face the enemy in force. What do you mean? The time for war is now. We can't just keep playing these games of peekaboo with the enemy. They've slaughtered people openly because they won't hate us. I gritted my teeth, turned on my heel, and hit Conrad as hard as I could. For most, it would send them on their ass. For Conrad, it sent him back a few steps before bumping into Richardson, who stopped them from falling. You don't think I fucking know that? They wiped more than half of the Enclave's population from existence, Conrad. They attacked us mercilessly when we had obviously lost already. After they destroyed the headquarters in Washington, they moved from outpost to outpost and massacred us. When they found our mobile fortress, they destroyed it without even trying to get the children out. They backed my people in a corner and kept fucking shooting. Conrad, I've tried showing you why I do what I do, but let me try to put it into terms anyone would understand. The Enclave is on its last legs. We can't fail again, or humanity is going to spiral into death with the last of us. I have to take every precaution to see to it that we win this. Stop treating things as if they're a game. We will all die, Conrad. Every single man, woman, and child, until they can enslave us. We can't live that life, so they'll drive us into extinction. Conrad stared at me, and I could feel the regret flood over him. He took my issues seriously, but never saw the bigger picture. He thought that this was one of many Enclave victories, ignorant of how much death was brought to my people. I couldn't blame him for being confused or having his fun-loving view, but changing his view would have to be learned with a serious emotional, physical, and intellectual outburst. I'm sorry, Peter. I know I haven't been taking this as seriously as I should. It's hard to see myself on the losing end of a conflict such as this. I can't put myself in your shoes or see what you've seen. I gave Conrad a few seconds, then I patted his shoulder. You've never faced defeat, Conrad. That's the only reason you don't understand. As the Enclave has been reduced to just over a few thousand old men and women, I've learned that our defeat will come with the price of our people as a whole. I hope you never have to face such things. We talked back and forth for some time before Conrad pondered a question. So, what are we doing? I smiled and pointed at a radio station a few miles away. We're going to siege the Black Mountain. Of course, we were doing this for dramatic effect. We had already planned a lot of shit out in PMs. The siege was us putting the lynch mob's king in check. So how will we do it? Vulp said the Black Mountain is infested with mutants. Our friends in the Legion will help us. Few mutants are smart enough to formulate a strategy. One-on-one, they are a huge threat, but with 20 of us and Richardson to make sure they can't get close, they'll be mincemeat. So we set out up a road towards the peak of the mountain. Eventually we came across a shack and a friendly mutant. Conrad called them green diggers. I suppose it's true then. The Enclave really is in the Mojave. Are you here to wipe us out? Conrad is unaware of the super mutant at Enclave past. We're here to take the mountain. Then you know that most of the mutants won't go without a fight. Just because you have a Deathclaw, you think you can clear out the mountain? At this time, I nod to Conrad, who aims the flare gun in the air and shoots it. The mutant winced at the bright light in the sky. The Legion will be here soon to help us take the mountain. If you have any friends on the mountain you want to save, now's the time. He didn't respond to me. He turned and began sprinting up the road until he was out of sight. So, mutants are just as smart as us? No, very few of them are intelligent. Those who are also very experienced in the wasteland. They know who and who not to fuck with. The entire time, Richardson just scratched his ass. We didn't have to wait long before we spotted a Legion scout peering over a rock a few hundred yards away. A few minutes later, our Centurion friends jogged onto the road we were on from a path in the hills. We expected a dozen or so legionaries. What we got was nearly 40 soldiers. 3 cohorts. Volp's brother walked up to me and gave me a forearm shake. How are you, friend? How is my brother? I am well, and so is he. I see your retinue has grown larger. Yes, since you began gaining notoriety in the wasteland, the NCR has pulled men off the border to send to kill you. Caesar has sent more cohorts into the Mojave. The time to strike the dam is near because of you. I never would have guessed you belonged to the tribe of the Enclave. We've heard stories about your people's power. Obviously cringe shit. Centurion Bro is edgy, but his story is absolutely fantastic once I read his posts. Centurion of the 13th Scouting Legion turned to a Primus Pilus, leading a war party in the Mojave. Guy raided the NCR prison in the beginning of the game to get his cohort out. He successfully attacked and destroyed half of Boulder City while escorting an injured Tribune. Guy is dangerous in his own right. Would not fuck with him. Why have you signaled us, friend? I smiled and pointed at the top of Black Mountain. We will soon begin a frontal attack against the NCR and boss. First, I need to take the mountain and the radio station. When are we to attack? As soon as you think your men will be ready. It's infested with mutants. Centurion Bro turned his head and gave the other Legion player a signal. Legion Bros draw swords, spears, and machetes. A few even have some dank-looking shields. If you are facing the enemies of the Legion, you have our full support. Let's get this done. We begin a steady march up the road until we come across the Generation 1 mutant and a few other mutants. We are no threat to you or the Enclave. We want to leave. Leave then. Once the mutants leave, Centurion Bro asked me why I let them live. Generation 1 mutants can be a deadly adversary or a powerful ally. In the future, we may come across the same mutant and see him as a friend. He nods and we continue up the road until we are attacked by Nightkin. I knew about Nightkin. I knew they were very dangerous. They didn't know about Richardson. As soon as one of them charged at us with its huge sword, Richardson emerged from some bushes and was on top of it before it could blink. In all honesty, visualizing us against the mutants went like this all the way up the mountain. 3 or 4 mutants would charge at us. Richardson would pounce on one and rip it to shreds. The rest of us would dogpile the others until we were able to kill them. Every so often, one of the mutants would swing a rebar club and hit one of the legionaries with a shield. Like this. By the time we got to the top of the mountain, we had suffered 3 deaths and 6 injuries. On the other hand, we had killed 20 mutants. If they attacked us in force, it would have been a real shit fest. After we got past the mutants' shitty shacks, we found the radio station. And we found a big fucking nightkin dressed up as a girl. Peter, what in the name of Uncle Sam is that thing? Some of these mutants are retarded. I look over at the big fucker. Really fucking retarded. The Legion guys look at me while this nightkin is talking to itself. Conrad tosses me a PM and I shit a brick. Do it, bro.jpg. Conrad gives me his RCW and takes the Viper Leader's sword out of my bag. Yeah, I still had it. Imagine a single-edged European sword, technically a falchion, but isn't as retarded looking. He approaches the big blue fucker and starts talking mad shit. You know, if God made me in his image, he was really fucking around when he made you. Full retard engaged.nuka. Big blue fuck charges at Conrad, swinging wildly. Conrad ducks and rolls under the swings, although he does get a glancing hit on the back of his head. Once he's back up, he's laughing and smiling. Tell me, Peter, is your friend insane? Legion Bro has never met the Conrad that is able to beat the fuck out of armies of men. No, he just really likes fighting. Somewhere out there in the waste is a vault full of people like him. Legion Bro does this. His eyes widen as he looks back at the fighting. It's been a few minutes in the fight, and Big Blue Bitch is getting tired. Instead of swinging wildly and trying to hit Conrad, the big fucker is just trying to catch him. When Conrad knows the fucker can't catch him, he starts putting in some damage. Every time he ducks under a swing or slips out of a grip, he'll hit the fucker as hard as he can in the head. If it was a human, I reckon that it'd be on the ground spazzing out with its brain absolutely destroyed by now. Conrad PMs me some shit to say in-game. Big oof, my dude, Pip-Boy. Conrad, go ahead and finish it. We have work to do. Conrad responds by sidestepping the big blue bitch's next attack to the left. Once he had gotten out of the way, he turned with lightning speed and swung down as fast as he could. He amputated the mutant's arms. Halfway up the forearm, he chopped them clean off. The big fuck went straight into the ground and began yelling in agony. Conrad walked back over to me and took his RCW back. He didn't turn to the mutant, but he aimed his gun at it and just held the trigger until it was out of charge. Why did you have to do that, Vault Dweller? I don't know. Because it was fun to beat the hell out of a big blue nigger. Legion Bros didn't respond. So what is the plan now, Peter? The plan is to bring the people of the Mojave to our side. That's our part here. For you, on the other hand, are you willing to help us face the enemy in the frontal assault? The Legion guys looked at each other, then nodded to me. Good, because we'll need you to get as many men as possible. We can gather 5 more cohorts by nightfall. What's the plan? I smiled and scratched my head. Listen to the radio tonight. You'll know what to do. They didn't wait to talk anymore. They just fucked right off into the hills. Unlike the lynch mob, the Legion Bros played by the rules of NPC communication. They'd have to travel to a specific safe house and contact other cohorts. Lynch mob just magicked in a couple of NPCs whenever they wanted. Boss Scribe Bitch even magically found a group of boss knights wandering around the wasteland. GM gassed their NPCs a lot. So what's our next move? You're gonna leave with Richardson. I want you back to Prim by midday. And back here by midnight. Conrad is mega fucking confused. What are you gonna do? I have to get our plan ready. Strap your backpack to Richardson and run as fast as possible. He just stares at me, still confused. I won't be able to get the plan ready without staying here, and we can't get Volp and the men up here without having one of us getting a message to them pronto. Alright, so what's your part of the plan? Listen to the radio, you'll figure it out. Conrad hesitated but strapped his bag to Richardson and began a running pace down the mountain. I told him to be there by midday. He'd be there before lunch. When Conrad was a few hundred feet away, I sat against the wall and sighed. Time to have my character's willpower break for a little while. When you're in my character's position, sometimes you just gotta cry a little bit. Pull a fury and have a breakdown up for about a half an hour. Once I got myself back together, I walked up to the radio station and made my way inside. Place was a wreck, but the retarded mutants were smart enough not to smash all of the equipment. I spent several hours in-game fixing equipment or connecting unused pieces that were hidden away in the back of the station. Before I started working on the radio's broadcasting strength, it might have been able to get to a fifth of the Mojave. By the time I finished, it could ping off every single radio in New Vegas and broadcast for miles outside of it. 2 hours before sunset, I opened up 4 channels. 3 broadcasting on frequently used public frequencies, and 1 a secured line.